This video, just one example of solving a quadratic using the quadratic formula, and I just want to show you that we get a complex root here, which means we're going to have a negative inside of that square root. So let's force a 0 by getting everything on one side. I'm going to move, it doesn't really matter what you move. You can move the -3 over here and the 14 over here, or you can move the -5 over there. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and write it as -5x squared. Moving the 3x over here makes it plus 3x. Moving the 14 over here makes it minus 14, and it's equal to 0 now. You just want to force a 0. And again, I moved two terms, but it doesn't really matter. In this case, we have A equals -5, B equals 3, and C equals a -14. And the quadratic formula, just in case you forgot it, since I'm doing the quadratic formula video, I'll go ahead and write it down. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's plug in all our numbers. We have x equals -b. That means take the opposite of b, so we have -3 plus or minus the square root. B squared, that's going to be 3 squared. You can go ahead and write 9 if you want, but I'm just going to write 3 squared. That's b squared minus 4 times our a, which is -5, times our c, which is -14, all over 2 times a, which is -5. Now, doing a little bit of math, let's crunch these numbers. We have -3 plus or minus the square root of 9. Now, -4 times -5 times -14. Look at all the negatives in there, so make sure you watch them. -4 times -5 times -14 gives us -280. And this is all over -10, because we took 2 times -5 down there. And keeping on, we have x equals -3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 280. That gives us -271 all over -10. And notice we do have a negative square root inside of here, or square root of a negative number inside of here. So we have to pull out that I. So I'll remember to do that right here in a second. Let's take that 271 and let's break it down. We can definitely, let's see, is 271 divisible by anything? It's not divisible by 3. Let's see, 271 divisible by 7. I don't think 271 is, I think it's a prime number. I could be wrong, but let's just say it is. It will not break down, I don't think. So our final answer, -3 plus or minus, pull out the I, and then you have the square root of 271 all over -10. But that one worked out a little bit better than what I thought. I thought we'd have a little bit of work to do over here to break up the square root. But nonetheless, what I did want to emphasize here is to remember to pull out that I. And since we have a little bit of extra time, because we didn't have to simplify the square root, let me show you something. Let's take this number and let's plug it into this quadratic equation. I'm going to plug it into this one because when I plug it all in and press E or enter, we should get 0. And let's double check that and make sure we do.